The very best boots, both knee-high and ankle boots, across the high street for your autumn-winter capsule wardrobe. Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kira and I'm your resident style solutionist. I share videos on shopping for the best basics on the high street, how to build a capsule wardrobe, and lots of fun trend videos. So if that sounds good to you, then do hit subscribe because I would love to have you back for more videos. So in today's video, I am doing a very popular video that I did last year, which is a roundup of the very best boots, both knee-high and ankle boots, across the high street for your autumn-winter capsule wardrobe. So I have trawled the online high street and I have done the legwork for you, no pun intended, and I have found you the best knee-high boots, ankle boots, whether it's leather or faux leather. Some of these I have in my wardrobe already. I've basically just found the best options for the best value across all of the different shops. You guys seem to really enjoy this video when I did it last year, so we are back with another edition for this season. As always, everything that I mention will be linked right down in the description below. You might see some of my handy LTK shopping edits as well here on screen, and I will leave links to everything in the description below. Also, some of these boots I have in my wardrobe already. Some of them I've been wearing for years, and some of them you can just kind of tell by the composition and by the brand that I feel like they'll be good options. So without rambling on too much, let's get straight into it, and I'm going to talk about my top recommendation. The very first brand we're going to talk about for knee-high boots in particular is H&M, and I say this every year, but H&M have probably the best value for quality that you can find on the high street. I have pairs of their knee-high boots in my wardrobe for I would say 2 or 3 years now that cost me under €60 that are such good quality. As you can imagine from the price, they're not real leather, but the ones that I feel like are the most popular in recent seasons is their classic knee-high pointed toe boots. So I have them here in 2 different colorways. I also have these in a patent black. I think I actually have them in 3 colors now. I'll show you these first. These come in at €50 and they are such good quality for the price. They're really comfortable despite this little heel, which you can see here. Very comfortable. They have a really nice point on the toe, lovely height on the knee, and then this kind of nice kind of wide, not too tight width on the calf. I tend to keep them in the drawer with these little inserts. I'll actually link them below on Amazon. They just like keep your boots upright so you don't want them kind of flopping too much in case they crease. This exact style gets re-released every single season. It's usually the same price. I think they initially were under 50 and now they're under 60. I think maybe they're like 50 something, but they are really great value, and I stomped around in these quite a lot. I have these in a few colors, so I tend to go between them, but they are such a good shout. So I have this, I don't know if you can tell, it's like a deep burgundy color. Very slightly different one that I want to call out is this pair. So they're almost identical. You'll just notice the heel is a little bit thicker, if you can see that, and they have this seam, but they're very similar. These come in a few colors as well, but this beautiful beigey color was really high on my list. I didn't have a pair of knee-high boots in this color and I've worn these so much. I think this color in particular looks great peeking out of like a maxi dress or a maxi skirt. I think it's really cool for this time of year. And again, I think these were only a few euro more expensive. They were like under 60. Both of these knee-high boots I have to recommend probably as my top value recommendation. They're a little bit more dressy, as you can see. This isn't a boot you're going to wear every single day, but I just think the price versus the quality is there. I've road tested them. They are so good. Now I'm going to show you another pair of boots that I've had for the longest time. I think these are the boots that I've had for the longest time in my wardrobe. Again, these are from H&M. These classic knee-high boots, these were again under €60. They bring back a similar pair every single year. I've actually gone over these with black polish to like shine up the toes of them, and it's actually done a really good job. You can see from the heel here, these are definitely more of a walkable shoe. I mean, the other ones are very comfortable, but this with that chunky heel, no platform, no point on the toe, I can do, and I have done some serious mileage in these. I just think for the price, again, being around the €50 mark, it actually really is amazing. And I initially thought that in order to get a good quality pair of boots that would last me for a few kind of years, that I had to go for leather. But actually, when it comes to boots, synthetic leather can be just as sturdy. Natural leather is always preferable because I think it ages really beautifully and it softens with time, and I would usually preference real leather for my loafers and my flat shoes, whereas for ankle boots what I have learned is actually I don't need to have real leather for them to have a really good fit and to last. So I have to say these are faux leather. Of course, with the price you would expect that, but genuinely I've done season after season in those black ones. I actually picked them up in a brown kind of burgundy color last year to like update the ones that I had. Again, I'll link them all in the description below. The thing with these boots from H&M is that they do tend to sell out quite quickly, and they will restock them throughout the season, but you can never really guarantee, and some years they will sell out completely and then they won't get restocked until well into the springtime. If you do have your eye on a pair of these boots and you see them in your size, in the color you want, in stock, I wouldn't delay because they do sell out all the time. Another pair of boots from H&M that I don't have myself but I do want to call out are these chunky knee-high boots. These are much flatter and they're kind of wider on the calf. They're almost like a riding boot, but they're a little bit more chunky than like a slim streamlined riding boot. And again, these are, I believe, under €70. Just judging by the quality of the H&M boots that I have already, I feel like these would be a good shout. They look very sturdy, they look very comfortable. So if you were looking for something like that, I think these are great. And I often say these about high street shops, that one shop is never usually the best port of call for everything. Like some high street shops do better blazers, some shops do better coats, some shops are better for knitwear. It's just to do with a particular brand, and it can also be to do with their stock that year. But I always find that H&M's boots, in particular their knee-high boots, are always the strongest that I see in terms of like their selection of value, their styles. They're always the ones that come out on top for me, so I'm usually quite confident if I see a style of knee-high boot that I like from H&M, it's usually a safe bet. If you wanted to go for something in more of a croc finish, they have some really great options as well. This pointed toe knee-high croc version in this beautiful warm kind of burgundy brown is really gorgeous. I think it also comes in a black croc as well. And I feel like those types of textures is just so nice as a way of adding a bit of interest to your outfit. I love playing with different textures, especially with leather. And I actually have a similar pair that I picked up. I don't know if these are still on the website. I'll link them if they are, but they're a very fine croc. Can you see this? Again, these are from H&M. I haven't gotten a chance to properly road test these because they're a very recent purchase, but you can see they have this width at the ankle, which I really, really like. And they're knee high, but a little bit higher. You can see this scooped style comes a little bit higher than the knee, which I love. And again, these were such a good price. I think I got these with the member discount. I know I'm showing you a lot of knee-high boots, but I love knee-high boots this time of year. Also, I really like this square toe. It's not quite a point, it's not quite a round. I think it's very, very chic. If you're looking for texture and croc finishes, they have some really, really good ones on H&M. I'll link all the ones that I'm mentioning in the description below. They also have some great knee-high options. I bought a brown slouchy knee-high pair. Again, I had the member discount, so it was like I think 15 or 20% cheaper, and they're really, really fun. The over the knee slouch is more of a fashion trend style, but I really wanted to pick up something like that to style at this time of year. But again, these videos are usually based around classics for your capsule wardrobe, so I would recommend going for the blacks, the browns, the deep burgundies, and those colors that will be just the most versatile for your capsule wardrobe. With the knee-high boots, I find you don't need to spend the earth to get a good one. I would more so invest my money on like a real leather bag as opposed to a real leather knee-high boot. Now, when it comes to ankle boots and flat shoes, I do prefer leather when I can, you know, find that. But with knee-high boots, you don't have to do it. Just my opinion. I feel like it's not necessary. So I'm going to show you a pair of ankle boots from H&M that I think are really nice. I don't have these myself, but they have the same type of leather that the rest of their shoes come with. It's like a faux leather. Again, the price is fantastic. These are under 50. So if I was picking up a faux leather ankle boot, I would go for these. They have this slight curve on the heel, which I think is very chic. They have this wide opening at the ankle, which again, I think is super, super chic and great for wearing with either longer trousers or even like tucking into like a slimmer jean, or even if you wanted a leg out or you were doing tights. And they come in this beautiful kind of matte finish, like a smooth finish. Then they also come in a really fun snakeskin. So these ankle boots from H&M are kind of a bit of a dupe of the next pair that I'm going to show you. I think it's an unintentional dupe. The next brand that we're going to talk about, I think, does the best quality leather that you can get without spending designer prices, and that brand is Flattered. They are a Scandinavian brand. They're very much about slow fashion. They don't have a huge catalog that they update all the time. They have a very core selection of great basics. They only do shoes, bags and belts, like all of those kind of leather goods, and they do them so well. And I have a few pairs of their shoes. I'm not really talking about flats in this video. If you want me to do a separate video on flats and like flat shoes, I can do that. But their ankle boots are my favorite that I have in my wardrobe. So I have a pair here. So these are the Moya ankle boots from Flattered, and these are such incredible quality. They're so comfortable. Now these are real leather and they're buttery soft. So you can see that over time, I've had these for I think almost 2 years. The leather is going to like soften a little bit, which I personally like. It makes them look that bit more chic and kind of worn in, which I quite like. They also have a nice square toe. Really, really sturdy. Despite wearing them so much, there are no like bad flecks on the leather. Like despite softening, they've held up so well. This heel is so comfortable. I've done so many nights out, so many days stomping around. I brought these to London recently and was stomping all over the place in them. They're brilliant. And then these, I think, unfortunately might be sold out on Flattered, but they have another style called the Xena, which I will share here. And these are very similar to the pair that I was showing you on H&M, but of course they're going to be with Flattered signature leather. The quality is second to none. They're buttery soft. I feel like these will be so comfortable. Again, they have that slight kind of curvature on the heel, which I think is really, really chic, and they're just so gorgeous. Now I'm going to show you a pair of knee-high boots from Flattered that I recently picked up and I adore them. So these are a really classic riding boot style. I believe these are called a Florentine. I'll have them linked in the description. They are a really beautiful smooth leather, really simple toe, nothing too chunky, nothing too square, really simple heel, like almost a flat heel, just a tiny little bit of a heel there. And they have this classic riding boot style. If you can see here where it is slanted, it has that little asymmetric cut. These are so chic. I really think a classic pair of riding boots with a kind of sheer black or brown tight, beautiful oversized knit, a little skirt. It's giving chic autumn winter put together, old money. Like these are so gorgeous. Not only can you wear these with skirts, with dresses, they look amazing tucked into jeans, like a slimmer jean. They look great with even a pair of leggings tucked into these if you want to go for that slight kind of equestrian old money Ralph Lauren style. I think they're so chic. Now these are an investment because obviously it's a lot of leather, so these are more expensive than, you know, your H&M high street version. However, this leather is unmatched. This is going to age absolutely beautifully. They feel gorgeous on, and I've also noticed that I had other pairs of riding boots and these are by far the most comfortable. They have these little pulleys on the inside that you can't see, but see these tabs? You slip them off and on. It's so practical, and I just think these are going to be with me for decades. I mean, they're just so chic. Those are two pairs from Flattered that I really do recommend. Their leather is just divine, and especially if you're going for something that like this is a flat that you know you're going to be stomping around in, maybe for your workwear wardrobe, and you want it to be really comfortable, real leather is just going to be buttery soft. So next up we're going to move on to a slightly more trendier boot. This season I was looking for a pair of suede or faux suede ankle boots. I wanted something in kind of a Western style. I wanted something that had maybe a little bit of a point, a little bit of a heel. Because I was going for really a more trendier style, I didn't want to spend too much. And I always say this, invest in your basics and save a little bit on your more trendier pieces if you can, because they are the ones that, yes, you might be wearing them a lot, but they might not have as much longevity or as much versatility in your wardrobe. So I found a pair of faux suede ankle boots for such a good price. I'm so impressed with them. I found these on Pull and Bear. These were, I believe, under €50, which I think is amazing. They're faux suede, but it's a really nice faux suede. They also have this distressed detail at the toe, which I really appreciate because it makes them look like real suede that's been aged and lived in. So I feel like even though it's faux suede and even though they were so comfortable, they look, I think, 4, 5, 6 times the price, like even more, especially like suede ankle boots are not cheap. I was so impressed with these. I also really like the cut of the ankle, how high up it comes. These are so Western. They're exactly what I was looking for, and they're such a good price. I'm pretty sure these are still available online, and I'll link them in the description below. They have some other similar styles of suede ankle boots. I feel like they have a great selection of faux suede footwear if you're looking, and I just think it's a great way of saving on something that you want that's a little bit more stylized. You know, it's going to look really cool with your outfits, but it might not be as versatile as your classic black leather. And I have actually worn these so much. They're really comfortable. I feel like the sole has like a bit of bounce to it. It's almost like it's made with a certain type of rubber, and despite having no signs of wear, they're really comfortable. So I honestly can't recommend these enough. And I always say this when I'm showing you guys the best pieces on the high street, it's not always about being the most expensive. It's about finding the best value for what we're looking for, and I think that these are a really good find. So I've shown you lots of the boots and ankle boots that I have in my own wardrobe and some of the pieces that I've recently updated, some that I've had for years. But now I'm just going to show you some pieces on the high street that I think are good selects. So if any of you guys have any of these, please let me know in the comments because I'd love to know. But first off, we're going to look at And Other Stories, which are very good for footwear. They do great quality pieces. You know, they can be a little bit on the more expensive side, but typically when you go for their leather, it's great quality leather. I don't have a pair of their ankle boots, but I have friends that have bought their ankle boots and they may have been, you know, over 100. I always hear really good things about them, so I would be confident investing. So this is a pair of really classic pointed toe knee-high boots. Unlike the H&M ones I showed you previously, these have a chunkier lower heel. So I think if you wanted something that was a little bit more walkable, if you were kind of conscious about that, I think these would be great. They're in beautiful Napa leather and they also come in multiple colors, but I just think they're very chic and very simple. There's no crazy stylistic details about these. They're just simple, classic, pointed but not too pointed. They have a little heel but they're not too high. They come up nicely on the leg. I think these will be a good purchase. And again, And Other Stories leather is very good quality, so I think these could be a good one. And then once again, if you really wanted to go for a croc finish, I do think a black croc is still very minimal. It's not quite an animal print, it's not quite a snake print, but this pair to me look exactly the same as the previous pair I've showed you, just in that croc. So let's say if you already had your nice pair of classic knee-high boots and you wanted an updated croc finish, again, I think going for something like this with those classic details is a good investment. Another style I wanted to highlight are these classic kitten heel ankle boots. Again, very simple. These really remind me of the Flattered pair, but they're in that lovely croc finish. So if you wanted that updated print and texture, these are very classic. The heel doesn't look too high. They're cut nicely on the ankle. They've got a point, but they're not too pointy. I feel like these would be a great versatile ankle boot that again, you can dress up, dress down, probably comfortable enough to wear to work, provided you're not on your feet all day, but easy to dress up for the evening as well. So next up, we're going to move on to ASOS. And I know ASOS has so many different brands under its umbrella, but I feel like ASOS are a fantastic one to look at if you're shopping for boots, ankle boots for your autumn winter capsule wardrobe. Their own brand of boots I find to be very good, and I found some really great ankle boots and knee-high boots from them over the years. One pair that I'm very tempted to pick up that I hear a lot of people rave about is their Cindy knee-high boot. So they do this boot in real leather. I believe it's under 150 euro. They have it in a black color, a gorgeous chocolate brown, and then this really lovely yellowish tan. And these are very much a dupe for the coveted Fry boots. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. It's like an American brand called Fry that are like a Western style chunky boot that the girlies that I see on TikTok and Instagram absolutely love. And it's such a cool style of boot to wear with like maxi white skirts with your denim. Like it is Western inspired, but you can definitely stomp around it in the city. I see it a lot styled in the likes of Copenhagen, and ASOS have come out with a very similar version for a fraction of the price of the Fry boots, and they're still doing it in leather. It's very impressive and I'm very tempted to pick these up. I have quite a few pairs of like knee-high style boots in my rotation already, so I haven't picked these up, but they are on my wish list. So if you're looking for something similar, I've heard great things about these from other creators that have bought them. So another boot that I really like from their premium selection is this Callaway style. They kind of hit at like a mid-knee, which I think is very chic, and they're also like wide on the leg. They have that croc detail. They have kind of a lower kitten style heel, a little bit more chunky, and a nice point on the toe. These to me look very chic. Wearable enough, you know, for workwear. They're quite fashiony, but also very easy to dress up. And I think that width on the calf and where they cut is very like updated, and I think they'd look really cool with, let's say, a pair of skinny jeans tucked into like slimmer trousers, or like leggings I think would look really cool. They also come in a suede. It's like a chocolate suede. It is absolutely delicious. Again, I'm trying to pull myself back from buying more suede boots, but these are so gorgeous. So this next pair is just your classic knee-high chunky boot. These are very similar to the H&M pair that I showed you in the beginning, and again, these are also a really good price. I think these are real leather as well. So the H&M ones, those classic ones that I showed you that are quite comfortable, they do tend to sell out every single year. So if those are gone, I also think these ones from ASOS Very, very similar. Same length on the knee, like same height, same chunky heel, same kind of rounded toe. Again, really, really good quality leather, and I feel like these are a great price as well. If you're looking for a more patent finish, there's this style on ASOS. It's actually from Topshop. I think it's the Tanya style, and it comes in a few different finishes. I think I see 3 on the website right now, and they have this beautiful burgundy. It's like a patent burgundy. Then they also come in black, and I believe like a patent black as well. It looks like it hits just below the knee, a little bit slimmer on the calf. Again, a pointed toe, classic heel, just a good option. And again, these are under €80, which again, I think is very good. And then if you were on the hunt for that riding style of boot, I found another pair in real leather for under 150. I believe these are called the Callahan leather riding boot. Very similar to the Flattered ones that I was showing you. It looks like they have all the similar kind of slim details and a very good price. So I predict that these ones will sell out. Again, everything will be linked in the description below. And I check all of these things before I film to make sure they're in stock, but I can't guarantee they'll stay that way. So if you find something that you feel like is really good value and what you're looking for, don't sleep on it, because these do tend to sell out very quickly. Next up, we're going to look at River Island, which are one of my favorite high street shops for like fun shoes. They do some of my favorite heels, super comfortable as well. And they have a great selection of boots, especially if you want something a little bit more maybe fun. We're kind of focusing on more of the capsule wardrobe in this video, but they do have really fun styles for good value if you're on the hunt for something like that. But the first one I'm going to show you is again a classic knee-high style. I wanted to give you loads of different options, especially in case things were sold out. But this style are gorgeous. They come in patent finishes, they come in kind of burgundy finishes and black. I believe they're under €100, which I think is really, really good. What I like about these is they're that very classic style, the square toe, they have that chunky heel and that nice width on the leg, and it looks like the width starts from the actual base of the like boot, which I really, really like. I think that's quite updated. And then again, if you wanted to go for that croc finish, they have a croc knee-high option as well. Again, really, really good price, kind of a patent finish to it, and like a lot of River Island shoes, I do predict these will be very comfortable. I don't think I've ever had a pair of boots or heels from River Island that wasn't comfortable. They just do it very well. I don't know what they put in them, but you can stomp around in them all day. And then finally from River Island, I'm going to show you these gorgeous suede knee-high boots. Now these are real suede, which I think is very impressive given that the price is, I believe, around or under 150. And I think if you're looking for real suede with boots, firstly, please spray them with a suede protector. I'll link mine in the description below. It's just one from Amazon. You can get aerosol sprays or like spritz sprays. Give them a good covering. And to be honest, you probably need to be doing it every couple of weeks if you're wearing them all the time, but you can find really nice suede for good value, and I think these are the perfect example of that. They have this beautiful, it's like a neutral tan, kind of warmer, rusty, it's like a mix of colors. I love this pair. And then they also come in a beigeier, creamier kind of suede as well. These also come in leather finishes and different kind of patent finishes, but this suede option I just think is so chic. I feel like these boots look like they're 3 times the price that they are. So if you are looking for suede, I know it's maybe not as minimal as what we're usually looking at in this video, but I do think depending on how you wear it, a suede pair of boots can be just as versatile for you. So whether maybe you already have your leather covered and you're looking for suede ankle boots or suede knee-high boots, you can still find those on the high street as well. So there you have it, guys. That is a roundup of all of my favorite knee-high and ankle boots on the high street for your capsule autumn winter wardrobe. I really hope you guys enjoyed my recommendations. They will all be linked in the description below, as I said, and I'll also leave links to some of my kind of styling and shopping edits as well for you to check out. If you would like to see a roundup video on anything else, please just let me know in the comments below. I also have a roundup of my top winter coats for your capsule wardrobe, looking at coats that have a percentage of 50% or higher wool. So we're looking at great quality, like the best basics on the high street. But if you'd like me to cover anything else, if you want me to cover bags, jackets, blazers, trousers, knitwear, anything like that, let me know in the comments below and I can do a dedicated best of the high street series for you, because these 2 videos that I filmed last year, you guys seem to find them really, really helpful, and obviously that is what I'm here for. And as always, if you have not already, then be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week and I would love to have you back for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!